Hi, my name's Adam Franklin, chef proprietor of Yacht Club and Yacht Club Outside Catering. Everything that we cook at the Yacht Club and for our big events is unashamed comfort food. Our carvery on a Sunday is all about taking a break for a couple of hours. You've got these fantastic views out the window, watching the boats bobbing along on a nice sunny day or even in the winter, but the food is all about plenty of butter, plenty of seasoning, plenty of flavour, nothing too fancy, nothing too fussy. It really is about people just coming and taking a couple of hours out for some fantastic food. Our most popular dish is our fish and chips. Without a shadow of a doubt, we have table after table after table of people coming in every single week for their fish and chips, cod, haddock, whatever's sustainable at the time. We sell an absolute load of it. And then got to be our sticky toffee pudding or our oh my goodness chocolate tart, which is an absolute killer dessert. So all of our fish that we buy is sustainable stock. We buy as much of our ingredients locally as possible, and I'm a massive advocate of supporting local independent businesses and local independent growers and producers to make sure that our money stays in our local economy and we're supporting the people that are taking a risk and also the people that have got a skill. There's nothing better than a person doing one thing over and over again and doing it really well. So we're massive advocates of that. So Christmas is a crazy time for us at the Yacht Club and outside. We've got events every couple of days, big Christmas dinners, and of course everybody wants traditional. And we put a little bit of a spin on that, you know, so we try and get the best flavour that we can out of our turkey. We try and do some nice, really interesting starters, but everything nods back to the traditional. And of course, it's all about them roast potatoes, crispy, glossy bags of mashed potato. Our menu for Christmas is quite traditional and we'd like to move away from some stuff, but it's what people want at Christmas. It's their Christmas party, it's their once a year where they're out with their colleagues and they want what they want. So we're going to go and cook my favourite 3-course Christmas traditional dinner. We've got a great starter of roasted figs with speck, port salut cheese and a nice cherry dressing with some croutons in there for crunch. A turkey that's been brined overnight to try and get some juice and some flavour into that tough old bird. As I say, the most amazing goose fat roast potatoes. And then for me, just the dessert that finishes everybody off in my house. It's a mixture of panettone, which I'm a massive fan of, and Christmas pudding. The Christmas pudding's a big tradition in this country, obviously, and people are looking for the sixpence years ago. Now they're looking for the £2 coin. It used to be that there was a silver thimble for prosperity or a silver wishbone. What we're going to do with that is layer the Christmas pudding and the panettone with some Irish liqueur, fresh eggs, a little bit of cream, and then some muscovado sugar on top, which is going to be beautiful. So the history of the turkey. Turkey originated in Mexico and then moved up to America, and in the Victorian times we brought it over here because it's one big bird to feed a whole family instead of a couple of small gooses. I don't mind turkey. I'm not its biggest fan. But what we're going to do with it, with the brining and the curing process, will pack a load of flavour and a load of juice into the bird. First, let's have a look at the turkey. I'm not a massive fan of turkey. A lot of chefs find it difficult to cook with, to keep the flavour, to keep the moistness. So I always brine my turkey overnight in a washing up bowl. We're going to have a recipe for a brine that will be going across the screen and on the website. 24 hours is absolutely ideal for that. It works by osmosis. The salt draws all of the liquid and all of the flavour of the brine through the meat, which stays in there during the cooking process. So we've got a 4.5, 5 kilo bird here, and that's going to take about 3 hours to cook, 3.5. So what we're trying to do is keep as much moisture in that turkey as possible. So as I say, we've brined it, and then we're going to put pretty much as much butter as we can underneath the skin. So I've loosened off the skin, and then we're going to put these slices of butter just there so it's dripping through that thigh meat. And the same on the other side, and then a good old whack just over its backbone there. Okay, we're going to season. Plenty of salt, plenty of black pepper, and then we've just got some melted butter, and we're just going to put that over the bird as well. I like to start the turkey off for about 30 minutes in the oven at 210 degrees, 220 degrees. Just get the heat going through it, and then put some tin foil on. Cook it for another hour with the tin foil on, and then take the tin foil off, flip the turkey over so the juices are running back through the breasts and back through the legs, and then finish it off by flipping it back over and just constantly basting every 10-15 minutes. So we'll get the turkey in the oven. The perfect roast turkey. You'll need a 5 kilo bronze turkey, a pack of butter, 2 handfuls of salt and 2 handfuls of brown sugar, 6 peppercorns, 4 bay leaves, 3 oranges, a teaspoon of paprika and a small bunch of lemon thyme. Place all ingredients except the turkey and butter in a big pot and bring to the boil. Cool, and then place the turkey into this and submerge. Refrigerate overnight. Remove the brine and discard the liquid. Smother with butter, salt and pepper and place on a trivet in a large roasting dish. Place in a preheated oven on 210 degrees for 30 minutes and then reduce the heat to 160 for 2 hours. After 2 hours, remove the foil and turn the turkey onto its breast and baste every 20 minutes. The perfect turkey. Okay, now the turkey's in, the pressure's off, and that's just going to cook away, as we've said before. I love this starter. We have this sometimes as a brunch, but every Christmas we always have this. Figs are in season at this time of year and they're really cheap. So we've got some really nice plump figs, some speck, although you can use Parma ham or Bayonne ham. We've got some bread to make some croutons, some port salut, and beautiful cheese. Not a great deal of flavour, but a really good carrier of flavour. And that's just going to help all of them flavours stick to the roof of your mouth as you're eating it, nice and creamy. And then we've just got some cherry conserve, and that's just going to make a little dressing just to go round afterwards, and then a little bit of peppery, a little bit of watercress. So what we're going to do is prepare the figs, and we'll just cut them open. Not all the way, just cut them about 80% of the way through and then give them a little squeeze, get some of that juice going. And we're going to cook these in the oven after we've filled them with the port salut and the speck. So we'll just do these guys and get them in. A lot of people have soup for Christmas lunch as their starter, but for me it's just too much of a meal. I'm full afterwards, so I always have something a little bit lighter. And normally there'd be a large glass of red wine on the side as well. So we've got our port salut. I'm just going to take some little chunks of the port salut and just push them down into the figs. As I said, not a huge amount of flavour, but just a really good texture. And then the speck. Try and get a little bit of fat in everyone. As we know, fat equals flavour. So we'll just fill these up. We're not going to season this, we really don't need to. The speck's got the salty going on, the figs have got the sweet. So we're just going to cook them now for about 6 or 7 minutes, just until the edge of the speck just starts to cook. Beautiful. One's collapsed, that's a pretty good rate. So the speck's nice and crispy and the port salut has just started to melt. So we're going to put our pan on, a little drizzle of olive oil. We're going to make some fresh croutons, just as an added bit of texture to this dish. Never use them shop bought croutons. They're just, you'll break your teeth. You'll end up costing you a fortune. So we've got some croutons. Just drop these into that oil. Again, we're not seasoning. There's too much flavour going on already. We'll just flip these around like so. There's a little bit of juice come off the figs, and that'll be great for when we make the cherry dressing in a second. Okay, we'll let them finish off. I'm going to put two of the figs there. We'll dress the watercress with just a little bit of olive oil. Okay, the croutons are nearly ready, and we'll just pop one or two of the croutons there, and then make our sauce. This is just a cherry conserve. You can try and get one where there's whole cherries in there, just for little sweetness against the saltiness of the cheese and the speck. And there is my perfect Christmas starter of baked figs with port salut, speck, watercress salad, and some croutons and a little bit of cherry dressing. I'm going to wash up, clean down, and get back on with the veg. For my fantastic fig starter, we need 4 figs, 100 grams of Parma ham or speck, 100 grams of port salut, black cherry jam, 50 grams of baguette croutons, and a splash of olive oil. Now, a couple of accompaniments I love on Christmas Day, apart from pigs in blankets and stuffing balls, which are the obvious, and amazing goose fat potatoes, are sprouts with just a hint of sage and parsnips, of course, cooked in honey and butter. So, a couple of pans on. I'm gonna get some butter for the sprouts. And this is when you're heating them up. The day before, pick a nice big sprout, boil it for about 10 minutes, and then cool it down in some cold water, and just take off the base and take off the outer discoloured leaves, and that leaves you with beautiful, nice little sprouts like that. There's no moisture in there, and they're not all soggy. I love the traditional flavour of sage and onion at Christmas. So what we're going to do is, I've got some butter melted there. We're just going to pick some nice fresh sage leaves. Dried sage is okay, but if you can get fresh, then I'd certainly get fresh. And then we're just going to pop the half sprouts 5 minutes before you're serving to your guests, and just heat them up over there. Parsnips, another big love of mine. At this time of year, you can get some pretty monster-sized parsnips. So what again I'd do, pre-boil them the day before, cut them in half, and just check that the centre isn't too woody. If it is, just cut it off and discard it. If not, you're good to go. So what we're going to do with this is, again, it's Christmas, so a really nice knob of butter, and then some of the parsnips. Face down. The smell of that sage is absolutely fantastic. We're just going to put a little bit of seasoning on both of them. A good glug of honey. Nice bit of pepper. And then we're just going to put them on a tray to finish off in the oven. And you can turn them over 3 or 4 times. Much better, I believe, than roasting from raw. And then we've got our beautiful sprouts. Nice sagey smell coming off them. And when we come back, we're going to serve up our turkey, our trimmings, and these fantastic vegetables. We have two basic desires for food, homeostatic and hedonic. Homeostatic is the need to refuel, and hedonic is the need to treat ourselves. This dessert for Christmas Day is definitely hedonic. I love Christmas pud. It's got a long history, 13 ingredients to signify the Christ and the 12 apostles, but my background is in Italian food and I love panettone. So I'm going to make for you today a bread and butter pudding with Christmas pudding. This is a journey towards type 2 diabetes. There's loads of sugar and loads of butter. So a small earthenware dish, and we're going to slice the panettone and the Christmas pudding together. And we're going to try and get as much, but not too much, butter into the mix as well. So a little bit of melted butter into the bottom of the dish, like so. And then we're just gonna, with some nice soft butter, butter up the panettone. There's no need for any spices in this recipe because they're already there in the panettone. Panettone is full of soft fruits and dried fruits, and it's an almost brioche. So, and then we're going to slice up some of our fantastic Christmas pudding. Again, really moist and loads of spices and fruits already in there. So we'll layer that through like so. Don't be afraid to get clean hands in there. Okay, and then another layer of panettone. And we're going to finish this off with a layer of really rich, dark muscovado sugar, which again I think's got a spiciness to it. Okay, so more butter. This finishes everybody off in my house on Christmas Day. Everyone tucks into this, and then it's 2-3 hours on the couch watching TV. So we've got 3 eggs, and again, be prepared to use nice clean hands in a minute. We've got some muscovado sugar. We've got some Irish liqueur. Well, we don't need that. That's plenty. That, to me, is the taste of Christmas. And then some double cream. So, we'll mix this together. You don't have to mix the sugar all the way through because it's nice to have little pockets of sugar that's going to caramelise in the oven as it's cooking. So, here we go for the nice clean hands bit. Just rip some holes in there and just squudge this mixture down. Just like so. Okay, and then tuck it in at the edges. Again, little pockets of sugar. And that is my Christmas pudding and panettone bread and butter pudding. My panettone Christmas bread and butter pudding. Ingredients: 100 grams of butter, 250 grams of panettone, 250 grams of Christmas pudding, 3 eggs, 300 mils of double cream, a big glug of Baileys, 4 teaspoons of muscovado sugar. So it's that time of the day when we're about to put everything together. We've got our potatoes, we've got our lovely juicy turkey, and the rest of our accompaniments. We touched on the potatoes before. Maris Piper are the best potatoes to use for roasties at this time of the year, and you have to cook them in goose fat. Now, you have to hold the line. They sometimes take an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes. But if you have a look at these potatoes, crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside, it's just a matter of time. You've just got to keep turning them without smashing them up. So, without further ado, I've got a guest joining me in a couple of minutes, so we'll have a little bit of a plate up. And I can't wait to try one of them fabulous potatoes. So the turkey, I would suggest for the leg meat, either eat it cold over night time or shred it up and make a sandwich filling out of it. So, lovely juicy turkey. I can see how moist that is. That's certainly enough. And then some of our roasted parsnips. I'm just going to lay them up. Our sprouts with sage, and that sage is just smelling fantastic. Just dotted round. And of course, you have to have the stuffing bowl, the pig in blanket, and some nice roast turkey gravy. I'm joined today by Paris D'Alessandro from Epic Apart Hotel in Liverpool. Paris, nice to see you. Quick shake your hand. I judge by your name that you've got some pretty hearty food influences.
Yeah, my Italian heritage is my food influence. I tend to rate all food from my nan's cooking.
Okay.
So you've got a tough act to live up to be fair. But it smells gorgeous.
Well, we've done some panettone, so dig in, and I'm going to put out some panettone Christmas bread and butter pudding for us both, because I know I certainly am going to have some. Wow, look at that. So what you've got today, Paris, is my little take on Christmas dinner, just trying to make some of the dishes a little bit more flavourful and a bit more special. What's hitting you there?
These potatoes are fantastic.
Really?
They're just so fluffy inside, crispy on the outside, amazing. And do you know what? I don't like Brussels sprouts, Adam, but they're lovely.
Okay.
They truly are.
I hate soggy Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
So you're in the industry, I'm in the industry. There's a game that we always play when everyone's out for a few scoops, and that is what's your last supper? If you were leaving the planet tomorrow, what would be the starter, main course and dessert that you would have to have?
My wife will laugh, but I'm a big meat eater. Okay?
Yeah.
Parma ham with melon to start.
Lovely.
Again, quite traditionally Italian.
Yeah.
And my nan's spaghetti bolognese for main course. I do have a good roast dinner, so it'll be torn between those two. And
wait and tell me what dessert it is until you've had that. I'm going to have a little try. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
I could eat that turkey all day. That turkey's lovely.
Yeah. Thanks very much for joining me. And we'll see you next time.